Wake up, everybody, and welcome back to Ranking Sonic Games with me, Bander SN, and the master of all things emeralds, Joey Spicy Fries. Hello. Hello, Joey. Welcome. Hope you're having a good Sunday.
Bander. I am having a pretty good Sunday. How about you?
It's just started, so not much could have gone wrong so far.
I don't know. I'm still coming down from the high of the just rank shaking that happened last week. Wow.
Last week, yeah, and last week was quite the event, quite the some might say one of the examples of how democracy can actually work in a system, and that people should look to that and as hope and inspiration for their future democratic events. Anyway, Today we're playing Sonic Lost World, and if you think you've had a bad week, think about us sitting here having to play that.
I mean, other than the last few levels giving me trouble, I enjoyed this game quite a bit. I thought I wasn't gonna like it as much, coming off of Generations being so great, but I enjoyed this, and I think you're gonna be shocked with where I have to put this on the rank.
That's very interesting.
We might have a debate, I think.
Do you have anything more to say about it? I would love for us to have something like really, really clashing. In terms of how the rank is going to go, but do you have anything more to add to it for your initial thoughts?
So it's just, at first when I started playing, I wasn't used to the controls, obviously, and I had to remap it on my keyboard to work the way I wanted it, but I wasn't figuring out I guess whatever button I had dash mapped to wasn't working, so I was just trudging and walking for most of it. I'm like, why am I not going fast? This doesn't work. So once I got going and actually going fast as you should, I found I was enjoying it. I found some of the mechanics were fun. There were some bits that did annoy me, so we'll get to that, though, in the certain zones that they were in.
Yeah,
but other than that, it was a lot of fun. Sorry.
No, that's fine. For me, I unfortunately had to play all this game yesterday. I played a lot of the initial bits. I actually started this game a couple months ago. And so I played probably the first 3 levels, plus those cool DLC levels with the Link and Yoshi thing. And you might be wondering, the Link and Yoshi DLC, how are you playing that? Well, I, of course, played on original Wii U hardware in the year of our Lord 2024, which, my goodness, what a device this is. What a console, the Wii U. Because you get all the touchscreen nonsense that they tried to throw in there, which I actually was not... I didn't hate them, trying to use the Wii U gamepad as much as possible, because, that's just kind of how games were made on the Wii U back then. It's like, you got to use the tablet somehow. And
why waste the money on the device if they're not going to use it to its full potential?
Yeah, just to make a good game instead.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble with this game. I did not particularly enjoy my time with Sonic Lost World. There was a lot of things that there's a lot of levels that I was like, oh yeah, that was a good level. And there was a lot of levels where I'm like, ooh, oh no, what were they doing there? They had so many ideas in this game. This game was so full of different mechanics left and right. There was a point where, and I don't know if they had rail grinding in the first world, but there was a point where we had an entire level dedicated to rail grinding, and I was like, what the heck? They actually had rail grinding in this game, and they haven't used it until now? Like,
I know which level you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, there's like ice skating, there's the snowball thing, there's the 2D sections are so different than the 3D sections and whatnot, in different ways. There's the pinball thing. Like, what I really love about this game is this might be the first 3D Sonic game to truly try to be a 3D, like, Genesis Sonic game. Every single level, every single way, every single design decision brings back that, like, Genesis-like art style and direction, which I thought was really cool. The the variety of levels are so cool. Like in the desert world, it goes from like sandy area to like, what is it? The dessert place to, I think is that where the casino is level? There's just, the honey bee forest level.
Our audio is pretty quiet.
Our audio is quiet?
Our audio is pretty quiet.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me see.
Like, just bump it up a little bit. That's better.
Oh, I didn't touch it.
Oh. Maybe I messed with something.
Oh. Yeah,
I'm sorry. That might have been me.
I opened up the audio. It sounded pretty good to me.
I'm sorry. That's
But if you listen to it later on, it's worse again. Let me know.
Okay.
Oh, there's these bonus balloon levels, which there's a ton of, and you have to use the stylus to drag it across the screen to use it, which is very difficult to keep track of where Sonic is on the screen.
I think I'm looking at it right now in the B-roll, actually.
Yeah. That's
cool. I didn't play any of that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that when we get to that final level, but there was some important things with those bonus levels that I needed at the very end there. Yeah, I just felt the controls, the way they wanted you to control Sonic in this game was like a cool change of pace, but needed like so much more polish than what they gave it. It felt so clunky to control Sonic. There's different things you can do to make the movement feel better, but from a base level, from like I'm just coming into this game just to play it casually, it just feels very clunky. In terms of when you're moving around and you jump and then you land and you try to take off again, and there's just a weird hiccup when he starts to run again. You cling to every wall and surface no matter what you're trying to do, because parkour and dash is the same button. It kind of makes sense in my head, but it's still kind of difficult. There's the kick button, there's the stomp button, there's the homing attack button, the double jump. There's all these different things all in the face buttons, and they get mixed up so easily in terms of what you're trying to do. There is no forward dash in this thing, where there's so many times where I'm like trying to jump, and it feels like I'm hitting a brick wall. And like you see in these like half pipey kind of courses, they're really cool and they're fun to kind of run around in, but it feels so herky jerky. And like right there, and the homing attack is just there's just so many weird things. It's just such a bizarrely made game. It really feels like they had. Go ahead.
No, you. I'm sorry. I can't interrupt. That's rude of me.
No. It's a discussion. Go ahead.
I feel like even just the slightest turn in direction slows you down. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to run straight if you want to keep building up momentum. You can't even so much as slightly turn left or right, or he starts to slow, it felt for me.
Yeah. There's definitely a huge learning curve, and I feel like it's okay to have that kind of in a video game, but especially for a game like this, I just remembered something. Especially for a game like this, your vanilla playstyle should just be fun. You should have a really fun time just playing how the game initially presents the controls to you. You shouldn't have to learn like special techniques to make the game fun. There's a lot of special like things that are really cool when you find out some of the more interesting, unique controls, like spin dash, jump, press the spin dash button again and hold it, and you'll take off almost like you're doing the boost in the boost formula games, where you can bowl through enemies. It's really cool. That's the type of thing that's okay to have as a kind of special hidden move that you can do. But when that's so much more fun and so much more intuitive than some of the base moveset features, it's just a little bit like to me.
Talking about hidden moves, I guess not hidden, but hidden to me because I just never used it. There were enemies that were...
right there on the little bridge thing, and the fact that you have to jump to get on that little bridge. Just let me run up that thing. Go ahead.
Just run over it. The jumping's annoying. I was going to say, I never used the kick ability, like hardly ever, because I was always using the homing attack. And then there were enemies that you had to use the kick ability on, and I'm just not realizing, why can I not defeat this thing?
Yeah, like Zavik and the very depressing boss guy. Uh,
Zono, something like that.
I don't know their freaking names. I know Zavik. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kick thing was kind of like there's three things there. There's the homing attack, there's the super homing attack, which you charge, and then there's the kick. And like homing attack is a little funky in this game. It moves a little bit weird, but you can use it in a way that makes it really fun.
I found most of the time the homing attack would never attack directly. He would like loop up and then attack down. And I'm like, why? Why all that? Just no, aim straight at it.
Well, if you hold it, you can like chain, right?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that too. I just felt the movement was weird.
Yeah, the kick really needed its own reticle. Like a one where it's like, hey, you have to kick here. The game should tell you, hey numbnuts, you have a kick ability. Because there was a point where I was just so confused at certain enemies. I'm like, how on earth do you get through these enemies without taking any damage? Is the one that throw the bombs at you?
Or those spiders, those spinning spiders with the butterflies.
Those two, but there's those ones that are like they're like a big. They're almost, I think they look like a bear, and they're like chucking bombs at you.
Yes,
They're usually blocking an entrance to get the path you're trying to go through. J-Man confirmed anti-kicker.
Don't,
Mr. Trev.
Don't tell me you had to kick those gold ones, because I did not kick a single one.
You have to kick them. But again, the controls where kick is bound to the same button as stomp, so I'm constantly just bouncing up and down, trying to get the kick to activate, and it does not. It's so clunky. It's so tough.
Like, there should have been like a neon K or something, or like a foot or something to indicate, hey, kick here.
Yeah, or like
it was not. Yeah.
Yellow reticle, any color, different color reticle. There's so many little easy visual design things that you can do. Sarah was playing Astrobot yesterday, as real gamers do in their spare time, and she was saying how she really appreciated that the game presents coins in spots where it wants you to go, especially on a section that's kind of on rails where you can't really control when you stop and go. So it's showing you, hey, there's a coin over here that tells the player, hey, I want to go over there. And it's little things like that that help games where control is not always where the control of the character is not always in the control of the player. And this game has a lot of issues with that. What did you think of the new Wisp abilities? Or the Wisp use in general?
My interaction with the Wisps, unless it was absolutely mandatory to progress through the level, was very minimal. Mostly because most of the time I found myself just speeding past the pods, and it's like, oh, so I'll use you later. But the Black Hole one I just saw, that was probably my favorite.
The UFO?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's another one of the issues that I have in terms of like basic kind of level stuff. You're collecting the imprisoned animals in this game. That's sort of like a collection mechanic, which I think it's cool. I think that's a cool idea. You know, it goes back to kind of classic Sonic, you know, environmentalism kind of themes in terms of this game. Did you know that Sonic's political? There's the whole at the end of the stages, you can break those capsules to free the animals like you would in classic Sonic games. And you can find little mini ones throughout the levels to collect to get you more. And you need these animals to progress through the levels. Like, they'll gate you from levels if you don't have enough animals. Never ran into that problem at all. Except at the very end, which I'll explain later. That and the capsules used to collect Wisp powers, for whatever reason, those don't trigger a homing.
They don't have homing. Yes.
It's bizarre.
It was on the ice levels. It was the most infuriating, especially if you ice jump over, because you don't have any homing whatsoever if you jump like that.
I cannot believe they did not give you the homing. It's nothing makes you not want to use a Wisp power than having to stop, get right into the right spot, and jump and hit it. You can't even run into them. In the original games, you run into those things and they break.
Yeah, that was a horrible choice.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense that you just can't just break this thing. It's so annoying. It's so freaking frustrating. The
Choices were made.
So many choices were made. And again, like, look at this level. This level's beautiful. This game looks beautiful. There's so many cool level designs and mechanics and stuff like that. Like this big wheel thing that you can use to spin momentum. There's a lot of things that actually make you want to slow down and kind of explore a little bit, which I really like. And how this game does not give you... It's not a time-based game at the very end of it. There is time, but it's the clock counting down, so you're not getting the score.
The amount of time is so large that you can explore and be like, oh, I still have plenty of time.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. They really tried to make this more Mario style Sonic game. And I'm not allergic to Sonic trying new things. I'm not allergic to, Sonic trying to be a little bit more focused platformer or doing something different, especially after we had Colors and then Generations. They were like, we want to do something kind of different. This game needed... I think this game really was rushed out at some point because this needed like another year of polish.
Sure, definitely. There were definitely some choices that could have been made differently and worked on and improved on. But it's not a terrible game. I'll give it that, at least. It's got its moments. There was one bit in an ice level that it was a horrible snag where I'm trying to chip away at the ice blocks. So thusly, I'm sprinting to get the spin jump. But I'm so enclosed in these walls that I'm now running up the wall, not jumping, and I was stuck there for maybe 10, 15 minutes.
There was a part, I got stuck in the freaking pinball game. So much.
No, was it the part where you had to bounce your way up 3 different freaking tiers? That's the worst.
30 minutes.
No. That should not be a thing.
30 minutes on that stupid pinball thing. I was so excited. I was like, oh, they brought like a nice little pinball section. It works pretty well. I did the first part and I landed in the little escape part. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I got to the second one and I was playing through it and I was just like, I'm just gonna keep going until I fall into the bottom here. Just getting the most coins, most rings, the best score stuff possible. And then I finally fall through the bottom of it, and I'm like, all right, time to get back to the level. And it says try again, which is this game's
again.
Like you died kind of thing. And I was like, try again. That means I died. That means that's a death pit down there. How do I leave? How do I leave this thing? It does not.
Oh no.
And it's as you're playing through the thing, I'm like, there's no escape thing. And I'm like, I guess I should keep going higher and higher. And boy, does it not want you to go higher. It's really it's bizarre. That part's bizarre. Can I talk about a little bit of the history of this game? Some of the context for when this game was announced. So this was the first of, I believe, a 3-game contract that Sega had with Nintendo. That was 3 exclusive Wii U Sonic games. Now this one also had a 3DS version. They had plenty of like 3DS games going around during this time, but they wanted Sega to bring in 3 exclusive Sonic games. One of them being this one, another one being, I believe, a Mario and Sonic Olympic Games one. I think it was the London one. I remember it because it had the very cool yellow box art, which was supposed to have. I was trying to figure out how to tie that into our E3 drinking game when we were doing the Infinity Shots. I was like, can I find 6 different games that have 6 different game case colors? Right? And that yellow Sonic one was supposed to be the yellow one. Anyway.
Sure. I mean, Xbox would be green. Yeah. I mean, it could work.
Yeah, because we have Switch Red, PlayStation Blue, Xbox Green. There's the Kinect ones, which are purple. The Genesis ones, which are orange. That specific one, which is yellow.
It worked. It could have worked.
It was there. Maybe we could do all Sonic games. It could be like the Chaos Emeralds. Because I do have a copy of Sonic Adventure for Dreamcast now.
Oh my goodness.
Future plans. Anyway. And then the last one was Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, which is the absolute worst Sonic game, I think, ever of all time. Worse than 06. I don't consider it like mainline because it's kind of like part of like the TV show spin-off kind of multiverse kind of thing. Excuse me, I had to burp.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee burp. And that game's just rancid horrid. I don't understand what this contract Nintendo signed was, because if I'm making a deal with the old Sonic, I'm telling them, hey, these games better be good because they really dropped the ball on this deal. These games were ranged from like okay to just some of the most insulting crimes against video game culture ever seen. Because Sonic Boom Rise of the Lark is truly awful. But yeah, there was like this. I would if we could somehow find a copy of it, I would play it. I think you could play it 2-player, which would be funny.
Ooh.
Anyway, so I remember seeing the first trailers for this game and going, "Oh wow, they're doing something really different. It looks really cool." This game trailered really, really well. They looked really cool in trailers. There was this fun comic book, not comic book, like a web comic. Boom. This like meme comic where I think it was Satoru Iwata, rest in peace, who was discussing with the Nintendo characters, like the lineup for like 2014 or 2015, whenever this game came out. And he was like, okay, here's our list of games for the Wii U this year, 2013, which was the second year of the Wii U. It was like, okay, we got our 3D Mario World is coming out pretty well. Mario Kart 8 is on the works. We got new Smash Brothers. We have a Zelda game in the works. Everything's looking ship-shape. And then it cuts to Sonic in the comic panel, and it's like, and the new Sonic game, and Sonic is like wincing and he's like hiding because he's like prepared for bad news. And then Iwata says, "It's looking pretty good," and he's like. Oh, okay. He looks like so hopeful. And that's just how everyone felt, was like, wow, this game looks cool. It looks very different. Everyone was saying like, oh, this is Sonic Galaxy. This is just like a ripoff of Mario Galaxy in a way, which it kind of is, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing for Sonic to take a lot more inspiration from Mario than it does. There was also the canceled Sega Saturn Sonic game, the what was supposed to be the first real Sonic 3D Sonic game. I think it's called Sonic Extreme. Yeah, Sonic Extreme, which looked very similar to how this game was going. Very weird polygonal level design where you get into running around all these different spaces and stuff like that in 3D. It looked really cool. It never actually came out. I think you can kind of play a little demo on it on the actual Sega Saturn Sonic game. Stupid company. What a terrible company.
Right.
And yeah, so the game was supposed to be part of this kind of like great second year of the Wii U that really came out, and this game just kind of came out to a big dud. Like no one talks about this game, and I think for good reason, because it's not the worst Sonic game, and it's certainly not up there with like the best of them. It just kind of falls into like this weird little shadow, and it's very apparent when Shadow Generations doesn't even do a level of this game when it could have.
That's interesting.
The last other piece of context, which is very funny, is that this game actually there's a lot of this game that influenced like the next 5 years of Sonic first in a weird way, because the what are they? The Deadly Six? The Deadly Six.
The
Zeddy are used in so many things. So much of the mobile games have those guys in them. Like you fight the weird purple crazy guy in the mobile game as like the first boss. And then I know Zavik is a boss in Sonic Forces, I guess.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And then, of course, Windy Hills is the Sonic stage in Smash Brothers for Wii U. And if I know Sakurai, he was like, we're doing Sonic for Wii U. We need to come up with some new stuff. He goes to He goes to the intelligent systems, talks to the Fire Emblem people, be like, hey, what's your new Fire Emblem character? Give me something to use. And like, here's some concepts of what our new guy is. You can use this. They go to, they go to the Zelda team. They're like, what do you got for us? They go to Sega and they're like, hey, you got that new Sonic game. Do you have anything for us? And like, yeah, here's the first level. It's called Windy Hills. Oh, this is great. The game's looking amazing. Good luck with the rest of your release. And then they put that out. And then Sonic Lost World is a stinker, and they're like, "Oh no, we have this level in our game. Why did we do this?"
Oh, are any of the Zeddy stage hazards in that? I don't remember if they are.
No, I don't think so. It would have been interesting if they did.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that had a lot of stage hazards going through. Like in the Metroid stage, they had Ridley and the Xenoblade stage, they had Metal, whatever that guy's name is.
Yeah, that's right.
Can we talk about the Deadly Six?
Yes,
and the story in general. I hate these fuckers. I have heard so many bad things about the Deadly Six. People do not like these guys. And I was always like, yeah, it's probably just because they're like annoying Saturday morning cartoon characters, which they are, don't get me wrong. I have never walked away from a game being like, I'm actually kind of offended by some of these guys. They are such just like one-note caricatures of the most tropey-ass tropes. Like, like the Mr. Miyagi-looking dude who's like the ripoff of the Kung Fu Panda rat.
Sure,
and then there's the life sucks, we're all gonna die, blah 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 guy, which not the worst one in the world, but he's just kind of just annoying and boring.
Yeah,
Zavik
and then
sucks.
You get the big boy.
Yeah, Zavik sucks. He's all just way too edgelord, like I'm the best, even though we beat him in a boss fight, and then he's like, oh, Sonic trying to reach the last Zeddy, who you can't hope to defeat. I'm like, dude, I already destroyed you.
I just beat you.
There's the pink dude who's just annoying, and they use him for everything, and I hate him. Then there's Woman, who is woman, like, and her script and her jokes are just that she's a woman and she's painting her nails. She wants to go shopping.
I just want to chill. I just want to shop. Yeah, like
the main bad guy's like, I'm gonna motivate you by being a sexist boss. It's just like, what are we doing? And then the worst of them all is the big guy, who is just like, that's just so bad. You can't be doing that. That, like, it's one thing to have, Joe hates women. Yes,
Joe hates women.
I hate that woman, and her friends too, and her little dog too. You can get away with jokes like that in a bubble of like a character that has more than that going for it, or bad guys making those jokes at the expense of the character because they're bad guys,
right.
It's another thing for that character's entire personality just to be like, I'm fat, I'm the fat guy. The main Eggman being like, here, if you go defeat Sonic, I'll give you this sandwich. And if you do a good job, I'll give you a bigger sandwich. And then all of his script involving food and how he's hungry, how he's eating. Blue is my favorite flavor. Like, oh my god. It's not even funny.
It was very flat.
Yeah.
It didn't hit.
If it was actually funny, I wouldn't be so pissed off, but it wasn't. I hate that character. I despise that character. That character is awful.
I agree. The Zeddy were a poor designed choice of villains.
Yeah, some of the boss fights were so brain dead easy. Like they have hitboxes as soon as they get up, so you can just combo them into oblivion.
Right, or I felt like I hit a couple of them twice even, and the fight was over just like that. And I thought, there's no way this is over. There's no way.
While we're while I'm just remembering a mechanic, there's they do the whole during this era of the Wii U and the late Wii games, Nintendo had this it's a okay idea of having these like little helper power-ups for you if you're kind of struggling in these levels. So in like Mario, you would get this power-up that lets you almost like skip the level, or like Luigi plays the level for you, or something like that, just so that, you know, younger players or players who are not as skilled as I per se, don't have to get stuck in areas and get frustrated. And Sega decided to use this power-up, this idea as well, in the form of this little wing power-up thing that you can collect, where if you've died, like, I think probably like 5 times in the same spot, they'll give you this little wing power-up, and what it does is it literally skips that section of the level for you and gets you right to the next checkpoint, which, again, I got no problem with. That's a fine mechanic. It's, you know, because you would rather have a kid skip a level and keep going than stop playing and get frustrated and never come back. I just think that's the correct way to go about certain things. And this game has a lot of swings in difficulty in weird spots and mechanics that kind of be kind of funky. So I can definitely see that being a very good thing for this game. The problem is they put this goddamn power up right in front of the checkpoint. I hit that thing so many freaking times. I've skipped so many levels because I'm like in like a death spiral in certain sections. And so as soon as the game loads up, I'm jumping in and I'm like jump, hit power up, skip. Like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that section. It was so funny to me when I just like skipped this level. I'm like, you know what? I don't even mind because I hated this level anyway.
Right. Moving on
along. It's a funny mechanic.
I think my favorite mechanic, especially so, was when the large chains of bees, you could just home attack through all of them and mow through them. That was my favorite.
Yeah, fun little thing, especially when they used it to skip certain sections and create a really nice sense of momentum.
Really made for the speedy part of it.
Yeah, you can unlock like time trials at the end as well to actually do more classic speed sections. So there's a lot of cool movement you can do if you look at some online speed runs. Because I sure as hell am not doing speed runs for this game.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm
here to enjoy.
Let's talk about that story. Because for what is a very bog standard Sonic story, they go very hard with it, and there's a lot of cutscenes in this game.
There are a lot of cutscenes, and I did enjoy. I enjoyed them. I felt it was good. It was filled with some interactions that were just great.
Yeah,
great for character development.
I enjoyed when. Sorry, my alarm was going off. It's 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. The interactions between Sonic, Tails, and Eggman, I think, are a lot of fun. I didn't really care for the whole, like, oh, Sonic is, like, doubting Tails' abilities to help out. Like, to me, that was just like hey, we need to give a reason for why Eggman's even here with the team, because Tails could easily do this kind of stuff, which didn't quite work for me. But I enjoyed the attempt at a bigger story. It's just that the Zeti are so rancid of an enemy that it made for a lot of the cutscenes featuring them just feel like I'm watching clips from Sonic Boom and like the worst moments in Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom actually kind of funny, very funny, very funny show.
It slaps.
Yeah. So
I liked the cutscene where Eggman dove to save when he went to save Tails.
Oh, okay.
And then Sonic's like, come on, why are you helping us? We're your enemies. I'm a complicated man.
Yeah, it's things like that. That's like fun little interactions that make the game feel more than just what Colors was doing. Because Colors really wasn't that much in terms of story. This actually tries to give Sonic a character arc in a strange way. And it's a little weird. It's weird to me. It makes me uncomfortable.
Right? It doesn't feel like it belongs. Even though it should.
Yeah. I think the whole, like, we're using this machine to suck up the energy of the world, a little bit too melodramatic for my instances. I didn't need Amy being like, Sonic, I'm dying, and with my last breath, I'm gonna tell you I love. Just like,
yeah,
okay.
No, that's a bit much for Sonic.
Yeah, it makes the stakes feel phony and fake. I don't believe that Amy is in actual danger. So I don't think that needs to be like a real thing that they showed. I think if they were to do like a thing where they like froze, like they became like the white statues from Generations, that would give you it a
Yeah.
little bit more urgency and sense of like, oh, these characters are like in quote unquote danger without
Yeah.
doing this whole melodramaticness of like, oh, Sonic, please help us, do whatever it takes to stop the Zeddy.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I was gonna say. So I was half expecting a somewhat fight with Tails, Mecha Tails,
Yeah.
and then for him to turn on the Zeddy, I just thought, yeah, no, I'm not gonna fight my buddy. There's no way.
There's been a lot of like, we're gonna take over Tails' mind in these last two Sonic games with colors.
Yeah, for real. He gets hit
weird.
with the ray in colors, and now this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very it's an interesting duology of Sonic games. I do love how this era of Sonic has so much like canon that they keep on, especially with the Orbot and Surfbot.
Yeah, right.
Cubot, Orbot and Cubot, Surfbot.
Orbot and Cubot.
Yeah, I like those two. I enjoy their like their antics and like how they carry over like Cubot having a bad voice modulator.
Right.
It's fun little stuff like that that makes playing these games week to week kind of feel like like we're continuing like some sort of story.
It's like a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. I'm guessing this game leads into Forces, so I'm interested to see how we play into.
Hoping for more Orbot and Cubot.
Yeah, more of those two. Give them their own
Sonic
game.
If we cannot save your friend, can I be your new partner? What? No!
Please take me away from this man. He's abusive. He's an abusive boss.
I can hear you!
Yeah. I like Eggman. I love Eggman. I think Eggman should be in a lot more things, like Smash
Same.
Brothers. People are always like,
Yeah.
Tales for Smash Brothers. No, Eggman. Put Eggman in Smash Bros.
They have teased it a couple times now. I am wondering, at what point are we going to get Sonic versus Tails? It could be a thing.
You can play Sonic vs. Tails in Sonic the Fighters and Sonic Rivals 2.
But I mean, like, story-wise, when are we getting, like, a somewhat, Tails is feeling brash and arrogant, and it's kind of like a Luffy versus Usopp moment, Like, they're not obviously hating each other, but they're gonna go at each other. Tails gadgets are gonna get him through the fight.
I would not be shocked to see something like that in a hypothetical next Sonic game where they have those like Sonic Adventure 1 fights, where you did Sonic versus Knuckles.
Yeah.
Or those Sonic Adventure 2 battles.
Or imagine it's like Tails makes his own Death Egg robot, but it's like a giant Tails, and you gotta fight that. But he's got twists that could actually take you down.
I love the part where Tails grabs the toothpick from the sandwich with his tail and uses that to program the computer. I'm like, that's good shit. That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's move on to some of the levels we had. I'll read you some of the levels that we had, and you can let me know which ones kind of worked for you, which ones didn't. Because we had Windy Hill, Desert Ruins, Tropical Coast, Frozen Factory, Silent Forest, Sky Road, Lava Mountain, and then the Hidden World, which I didn't do.
I didn't do Hidden World either.
No.
It was a struggle for Lava Mountain alone.
I was so relieved when the first Lava Mountain level was just a boss rush.
Wasn't it nice?
And then the rail level kicked my ass. I was like, oh no. That rail level had such weird... the rails had such weird controls, and there was those bomb carts which blew you up and killed you one shot with no...
They needed to make the jumping from rail to rail much more snappy and not so floaty.
Yeah, it felt really weird.
Totally I knew I was gonna hit the rail, but it's like, oh god, am I too far over? I felt like I was gonna fall more times than most.
Yeah, the thing I was saying in Generations, especially Shadow Generations, where they communicate what you're supposed to do to the player very well with button prompts and just very clear ways of clear direction for where you're supposed to go. This game does not do that. There's so many mechanics in this game that the game just does not tell you how to do. Like, there's the levels where you're floating in the air and you're going up and down. They don't tell you what to do in that game. You're supposed to figure out how you're supposed to go down and up.
Oh, in the sky which
There's 2 of them.
I know it. Yeah, that's right. I liked those ones though. I didn't have too much of a problem with them.
No, I didn't have like a ton of issues with them. It was just that how the controls worked was not explained to you very well, and how like, okay, if you go too far down, you're gonna die, and you can't actually hit things if you're in a ball while you're making contact with enemies.
Yeah, but they don't tell you that.
Yeah, it's just things like that I wish this game did a better job of communicating to the player what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think my favorite level set was actually the Desert Ruins, because there was so much variety there. Because you had desert level, the honey forest level, and then you had the
play on words dessert level.
The dessert level, yeah. They're just like that's cool variety. I like that.
Yeah, right. It was nice.
There was clearly a lot of TLC built into making like a bunch of different levels really stand out from each other.
The one where the tornado is chasing you, there were times where I kept getting snagged and I felt like it was moving just a little too quick on me, and I just couldn't recover fast enough to get away.
It speeds up for no reason.
Yes.
I was like, what are you doing? There was literally a part where I hit a boost pad to go off and jump, and it was just like, it killed me. I'm like, what are you doing? How are you going catching up? It's very, very annoying.
Frozen Factory, those levels were pretty fun. I feel like they could have fixed some parts with the ice, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. There were parts where, there were the parts where the jumps were dipping down. I would just ever so slightly miss the speed pad, and I would not jump far enough, so I'm like halfway in the gap and I'm dying.
It's that momentum.
Other than that, it was good. Yeah.
I liked our casino level. I think that was really fun.
It was a good one.
The chips that follow you. I did like a lot of what Skyroad was doing. Silent Forest was okay. I didn't like that 2D level where the eyes were chasing you. That's where I was really starting to get frustrated with Silent Forest.
Yeah, that one was pretty annoying. Skyroad, I liked the one with the dragon rings. That was a fun level.
I liked it once I figured out really what I was doing, because there was a lot of that level that was a little bit confusing. Like parts of the level were not, because like you're standing in a spot and I'm like, should I try to make this jump? Is something gonna, because the level has not caught up with me, so I couldn't quite progress in that little spot. And then you have the Zavik boss fight, which is fun enough.
That was very reminiscent of Petey Piranha with the eggshell on him in Mario Galaxy, especially with the tail following behind. Lots of those different types of boss fights.
The second boss fight, not the first one.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, that one.
The 2D one with the Dragon Road.
Right.
I hated that first Zavik fight.
Yes, that first one was annoying.
I don't like, because you hit the tail, totally fine. I think the initial bits of it, but then you have to get on it and then run across the whole thing to get to Zavik, and it's broken. It does not work.
So I found out. No, you're supposed to kick. I found out you kick, because the kick snaps you to the point, and then you jump and kick again. That's another thing they should indicate. Yeah.
Well, because I was homing attacking, and I would home attack from piece to piece, and that worked totally fine. That was a completely normal way to go through it. And then there was one segment in the snake's body that just
halfway through,
just did not work.
Yes, and you fall off.
And you fall off, and it's the most annoying freaking thing ever. I don't
go back and try it with kick, because I tried it and it worked, but I was having the same issue as you. I'd get halfway and I would slide off, and it's like, what the hell? It was so annoying.
You say kicking is the right answer, but the homing attack, as the player playing it, was the right answer. It was just this one spot that was broken. It was like that is a glitch. That is not an intended design feature. It's not intending to throw you off there. Because it's like, what's really the difference between the homing attack and kick there? It's all just trying to let you should just be able to walk on this goddamn thing instead of slipping off of it.
Well, so I guess, there's a glitch, but the difference really was that the homing attack keeps bouncing you upwards. The kick lands you. It auto lands you to the ground.
Sure.
So it gets
Yeah.
you grounded at least. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, totally. I like the idea of the kick, but in execution, there's some issues with it.
There was no need for it. Just, one thing should be. There's the homing attack.
Yeah. Well, it's like in Shadow,
But
where
yeah,
you have
I'm
to
with you
cast
on
Spears.
that. Mm-hmm.
Or like the one where you beat up the guy and launch him up. It's like fun little things like that to create different scenarios that are very clearly marked out. See, the game communicates with you as a player that the black arms enemies are the ones you need to use that mechanic on, and only those guys, so that you as a player are never confused when you are supposed to use it and when you're not, because those enemies have such a unique design compared to everything else you're fighting. Alrighty, did you have a... So, go ahead.
As far as the Zeddy bosses go... Oh, sorry. What were you going to ask? It might be what I'm...
Favorite boss.
There we go. I would have to say, as far as uniqueness goes, I'd give it to the depressing guy, because I thought it was interesting you had to switch the light on to hit him. And then you also got to get at his shadows that are getting in your way. That one was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed... Sorry, I'm trying to remember them in my head now. Because some of them are... It's tough to remember some of them because some of them were really quick to beat. I'm trying to remember what even was some of these mechanics. My favorite boss was Eggman at the end. That was the one that felt so normal.
That was a really good boss.
It didn't really feel like a
final boss. All the others
boss,
were just like, oh, we got unique.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. It felt so quick and easy. It was like, okay, what's the next part? And that was it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was that easy. It felt like a normal Eggman boss fight that you'd have like in Unleashed. This would be like the one that again is Spagonia or something like that. It didn't feel like the final boss. Like it wasn't like it wasn't like the Nega Wisp, and like that's the problem. We didn't have a cool song. There was no song to rank on this list for this week. Just so sad.
Poor choices were made.
I guess if I'm picking a Deadly Six that I like the best, I guess it is Zavik, or maybe the Kung Fu Master. Right? That's about as best I can give you.
I mean, the others are so plain.
Yeah, I like the idea of you luring the fruit into the blender. The execution.
That was cool. I did like that.
Yeah. And that's how you get to it.
There could have been an instruction that you had to be near it though to lure it, because like I'm across the map, it's not coming anywhere near me. I thought, is it coming? What's going on here?
Yeah, maybe your buddy Tails could be like, "Hey Sonic, maybe you should lure it looks like you can lure the fruit into the blender," or something like that.
Yeah,
just things like that, little things like that.
Right.
Alrighty, I'm feeling we've covered this pretty well. There was the DLC, the extra Yoshi and Link levels, which I would thought was very fun and funny, and those are actually really fun levels to play. If you ever find yourself in the presence of a Wii U version of Sonic Lost World, give those a shot. I don't know if you can download them still, but you can definitely mod them in. Other than that, there's no Chaos Emerald stuff. There's not really. I mean, there's some bonus stuff that I didn't really get to, so maybe there's Chaos Emerald bits. There's a multiplayer in this game, which I didn't play around with at all. Maybe in the future, but other than that, yeah, that's Sonic Lost World. It's a lot to this game.
I was feeling a lot better coming into this. I thought at first coming off the Generations, I thought there's no way that this is going to be a great game, and I was enjoying it. But after really critiquing it here with you and talking it over, I am feeling deflated.
Well, yeah, because it's like it's never the best way to play a game all in one sitting, where you're getting frustrated and I'm like, well, I have to keep playing because I got to finish this bit by tomorrow. I definitely think I could have enjoyed the game a lot more if I gave it a little bit of a break as well. But
sure.
I don't think that'll change where it goes too much in terms of the ranking goes. I really appreciate how much this game tries to be different. I think that is such a good thing, and it gives this game such a unique visual design and a unique kind of placement amongst all the different ideas. Like this is this is no sword. This is no gun. This is like an actual idea that feels like it came from developers, not from marketers. That I always say with Sonic games, that they need to come up with ideas that actually make sense as a video game and not as like something you put in a magazine to get people to pre-order your game.
Yeah.
Just the problem is the polish. It is just the polish of going through all these mechanics and making sure that they actually are fun and work as a player and don't have wonky physics. There's a level in the ocean section that you're running over these kind of floating islands in the water, and they're very small, and you have to jump across each one. And if you're in a weird spot with them, you'll just slip right off. Or if you try to jump, your momentum will be completely gone in a funky way. And it's like things like that I really wish they had a bit more TLC in them, and they would be a lot more fun to traverse and to progress through the level. But it just what are we gonna do? It was Wii U era.
There was a few rare moments too where it would change from 2D to 3D, and I would find myself just running askew off of the track, and it's like, oh, what happened there? Could have been there was a few transitions that could have been smoother.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots where the game just kind of like, oh, we're in a different section now. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. There was one, I think it was a boss fight. It may have been the Zavik fight, where when you restart, if you're holding the button, you're just spinning in a wild circle, and it's really funky.
I felt there were parts where they could have put checkpoints in more. Like, I felt they were spaced out way too far apart, and I've made good progress, but I die. Now I'm way back there, and it's like, oh no, oh god, no.
Yeah, so much of that
they were spaced way too far out at some points.
Yeah. Alrighty, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Lost World. I wish this game was great, because I would have loved to see more of this kind of style, more of this energy, this production value in another Sonic game, and for them to attempt this kind of thing again with some new ideas as well. Oh well.
Maybe we can hope for a Lost World HD remaster for the Switch 2.
I wouldn't hate that. I would not say
I wouldn't be opposed to it. No.
I would love for Sega to be like, screw it. Sonic the Worst collection, which is just 06, this, and Shadow. And Forces. Something like that.
We haven't gotten to Forces yet. We can't label it as bad just yet. Hold on now.
Yeah. Alright, let's get to that list.
Let's rank this thing.
All right. It's your turn to read off the list.
It is my turn to read that massive, monstrous list. Here we go. Starting at 1, it's Sonic 2, Sonic Shadow Generations, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Generations, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Rush, Sonic Advance 3, Sonic Colors Wii, Sonic 3, Sonic Unleashed Wii, Sonic the Movie 2, Sonic Unleashed 360, Sonic the Movie, Sonic Advance 2, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Rush Adventure, Sonic CD, Sonic Advance 1, Sonic 4 Episode 2, Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic Colors DS, Sonic 4 Episode 1, Shadow, Sonic and the Secret Rings, Sonic 06 at 27.
What a list. We've really had quite the range of games here, because we've added things to the very top of the list, we've added things to the very bottom of the list, and everything in between. Like we've even
added some extra things.
Yeah, some extra things in this giant burst of games we've been playing. Like this is there's a wide range of experiences here. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to put Sonic Lost World? I'm changing Advance to be Advance 2 because all the other Advance games are not shortened.
Gotcha. How do you feel about 17?
17 above Rush Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't have to agree. We can go with the old meet in the middle here with our picks.
I'll say it now. That's a lower number than what I already had.
Where were you originally going with this?
I was gonna go with it I was gonna go with it at 12. I'll be honest. I liked it a lot. I was enjoying it a lot. But now that we've really just digged into it, I am lower for sure.
I definitely would rather play Unleashed 360 10 more times than play Lost World, but I would probably put this, talking through it and stuff like that, and thinking about, playing it in less of a bubble, more of like a regular experience of, not having to play it all at once. I would definitely probably be a lot higher on this. And if I played it during the Wii U era, when like I should have, I was supposed to be there for Sonic, and I wasn't. And that was my mistake. I'm sorry, Sonic. I would probably throw this. It's that thing again. It's always like, well, it's not going above Sonic 1 for me because that's just too good of a game.
Okay, all right.
But like we can average out and have it meet in the middle. I would probably put this at 21. Yeah, right below 21. Sonic 1, because I think
21.
I think this game does so much good. There's so many good ideas here that aren't exactly executed perfectly, that make it's not as broken as Shadow and Secret Rings in 06. It's fundamentally not. There's definitely a thing you have to get used to mechanics and not using the dash button every single second you can, because otherwise you'll stick to everything. That makes it a lot more frustrating. I think it's a fundamentally better put together game than Black Knight. And again, like I said, it's not marketing, it's creatives making this game.
Yeah.
And it's far more interesting than Sonic 4 Episode 1 and Episode 2. I think Episode 2 is probably a better playing experience, but that's just because it's shorter, whereas this is like a real full experience. So I'm throwing it at number 21 above all the bad stuff.
You got it.
You're at 17, right?
I am with you at 21. I will agree there.
Oh, really? Okay. We can meet in the middle, and I think it would go right above Sonic Advance 1.
I'm with you. I can't put it above Sonic 1 either.
Yeah, that's really the wall for me of whether or not I want to give it my seal of approval.
Yep. I'm in agreement. 21 sounds like a good pick for Sonic Lost World.
Okay, Sonic Lost World.
Alright, let's save the doc.
We didn't talk about that music wisp. Did you use that at all?
It was not good. I didn't know how to use it.
I didn't quite understand it. I think I had to. I think it's a much better experience on the Wii U, and even then it's kind of confusing because you're supposed to tap the pad in the rhythm.
Oh, see, now I didn't understand it. I don't know. I picked up all the music notes. I was out of music to pick up, and I'm just sitting there bouncing while the meter's running out. And this is pointless.
This is weird.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Alrighty, I think that's it for us. Sonic Lost World sitting at number 20. Oh, shoot. No, that's not where
No,
it's supposed to
21.
go. I was like, wait a minute. That's not where you're going. And you'll see that I fixed Advanced 2 to actually be Advanced 2 instead of just AV.
I see that.
I hope we
What
get
an
that Advanced collection.
amazing list.
What an amazing
Dude, that would be
list.
amazing.
Look at what we've accomplished here. Next week.
Getting there.
Next week is the big one.
Mania!
Sonic Mania.
Woo!
The actual great Sonic game. That one that, even non-Sonic fans are like, oh yeah, I like Mania.
Are we?
I have so many good things to say about Mania. I can't wait to dive into this game. I'm going to play a character that I've never played as before. I'm gonna do a bunch of different fun stuff. This game is awesome. Have you beaten the game at all?
Never beaten it, no, but played a few levels of it.
Not to raise the bar and set your expectations too high, but this is the one, and it's because it's not made by Sonic Team.
Guys, are we in danger of another rank shaker next week?
I have very high expectations. So yeah, we'll be doing Sonic Mania next week, then Sonic Forces, and then Sonic Frontiers, then
this
Superstars.
Character you've never played before. Is this a character that was on a wanted poster in a recent game we played last week?
Oh, I was gonna play Tails.
Oh,
I've played as Mighty and Ray before. I've done
Have
Sonic,
you?
Mighty, and
Okay.
Ray, and I think I played a little bit of Knuckles too. So I was gonna play Tails for this playthrough.
nice.
Yeah,
All right. Well, that's Sonic Lost World.
that's Sonic Lost World, and that is ranking Sonic games for this week. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm sorry. such a wet fart of an experience.
Well, I mean, look at what it followed up. Coming
Yeah,
off
I
of
know.
Sonic Generations is just man.
Whiplash. All right, we'll see you guys next week. I've been Bander SN. That's been Joey Spicy Fries, master of all things emeralds. No emeralds in this game. Nothing to master.
No, Emerald. Nope, I mastered not a single thing. Bye bye.
Goodbye.